Two eyes here. This
Okay.
and that. Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, I think
We're live, are we?
you're live.
Alright.
A bit crooked.
Hi guys, how are you all? Can someone just say that you can hear us? Just type it in the in a message. And we'd be keen to hear where you're all from as usual. So you can type that in as well.
We are live on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
YouTube as well. Tonight guys, going to have a bit of a chat about the...
Wait a minute, can everyone hear us? Yep, Jeffrey said he can hear us.
Righto. And just turn the volumes up on your phones as well. Sometimes that's a bit of an issue because of the microphones on these things. But anyway guys, tonight we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about the proposal to stock GTs and big-eyed tuna in Queensland impoundments. We had a meeting and we're going to talk a bit about shark.
Sounds a bit dull.
And we're going to talk a little bit about shark depredation after that as well. So we have had... hang on, Karen's behind the scenes.
It's okay.
We're good?
Yeah.
No panic attacks?
I just had a message from Harry about the garments. Did they arrive?
Oh, yeah, they did, mate.
And, well, no, he's not on the live.
Oh, okay.
So I was just going to say,
oh, righto, sorry.
us on the live.
Anyway, let's keep going.
But I'll wait till everyone to join.
Yeah, okay. People are still tuning in,
yeah.
but...
So...
Anyway, I hope you've had a great Father's Day. Got to spend time with your dad or your kids, whichever way. And, yeah, I think the weather was pretty good on Saturday, which allowed a lot of people to get out. And unfortunately, it's probably going to blow up a little bit again this week. But that's how it goes sometimes. I haven't been out for a while. Both of my boats are pulled to pieces at the moment. We're rewiring and redoing all sorts of things. So, but anyway, guys, tonight we are going to talk about the proposal to stock Trevally.
Facebook sound is not very good.
Facebook sound is not very good.
No.
Can anyone else on Facebook hear us okay?
Jeffrey, there is a hissing sound. Oh.
Hissing sound. No. Anyway, let's just move on and push through it. Hopefully the hissing sound will disappear. I'll try and speak up.
I can shut. Is it the crickets maybe?
Close the doors and see what happens.
Well, I might have to stop and start again if it's a connection. Is it really bad? Now, George said it's okay here. Anybody else on the Facebook?
Could be people's phones too. Could be just an individual's phone.
Tim Swan, the president from the Mackay Area Fish Stocking Association, MAFSA, is here. G'day, Tim.
G'day, Tim. How are you, mate? All right, well, we'll push forward. Apparently some have a sound issue on Facebook. But anyway, we're going to push forward. So, yeah.
Oh, hang on. Now the Facebook's gone all... YouTube's gone all blurry. Oh, you know why? There we go. It's comedy of errors here tonight.
Always happens. Anyway.
Not always.
Righto. Now, Trevally being stocked in impoundments. We had a meeting during the week with... the director of the Fisheries, Queensland Fisheries, and also the scientists, and a group of guys from the Mackay region who all have interests in the impoundments of various sorts, charter operators, fishing tackle shops, etc. So they were a part of the meeting as well and got to voice some of their concerns. There are people for the stocking of Trevally. Some people will say, I didn't even know you could put Trevally in fresh water. Yes, they are. The big eye especially and the GT can both osmo-regulate. I've seen them up in the fresh over the years too. I thought primarily that they were just using the fresh to, they could osmo-regulate for a while to get rid of parasites, but apparently they can live full-time in fresh water. So I didn't know that originally. So
they're very easy to breed. The Asians over in many Asian countries have been breeding them.
And you might say, why Trevally? Well, apparently they are the third best and easiest fish to produce for the impoundments. So that's another reason. So, and it's going to be mostly to enhance tourism is where it's come from. I think that the directive has come from, it's obviously government, initiated to do this. There's been a lot of questions about why they trying to put trevallies in impoundments when we can go and chase them offshore, which is quite a good point in itself. But there are people thinking, it's just another way they're going to shut down the offshore fisheries, and they'll just say, you've got trevally in the impoundments. But I don't think that's the case. I think they're probably just pushing forward with some ideas. But this is not set in stone. Okay, some people think that this is happening and they're just going to stock tens of thousands of trevally in all our impoundments. It's not the case. At the moment, it's only a 4-year trial.
Well, you're not allowed to stock trevally impoundments at the moment.
No.
Until they get approved. So this trial is just to see how things go with very, very small numbers.
There's 30 of each species being stocked in a wonga, and they're going to be tracked with satellite tags, so see they can radio trackers. Sorry, they can find out a little bit about their movements,
and to see if they go up the creek and eat things they shouldn't be
eating, all that kind of thing, so they can track their movements. A whole heap are going to be released into Kinchant, and they're going to monitor that dam as far as the available bait predation goes, so that they make sure that they don't go overboard with the amount that they're putting in there. So my biggest question to them was, can you put an amount of trevally which will make it worthwhile for anglers to catch into a dam that already has big barra in it, and in relation to the amount of bait, where's all this extra bait going to come from? Is the bait sustainable enough in there? Is it not? So that's what these experiments are all about. So there's quite a few things they need to get right before they can go ahead with it. It may not go ahead. They also said that it comes down to the stocking groups. They will not stock them in any impoundments where the stocking groups. That's if it's all successful, but they will not.
So they're looking at the predation of, are they going to clean out all the bait so that the barra will starve?
Yeah.
They're only putting about 3,000 of each species in, which for Kinchant Dam is a very small load. They've already done pre-assessments of the bait, and they're going to see what happens as these things grow.
Yeah.
And if worst case scenario happens, they don't breed in impoundments, to answer a question. They don't breed in impoundments. If worse things goes worse, there's not that many of them.
They can electrofish them out of there.
They can electrofish them, or they'll be like catch them and neck them.
Yeah.
So that's the plan, and then it will be up to the impoundment committees to decide whether they want to stock them or not.
And of course, they would most likely get input from all the local anglers first as well. So this is certainly not locked in concrete. It's one of those things that's going to take a time to get the research done, and then they're going to travel with the findings after that and see whether it's worth going ahead or not.
Steve said inserting species into the wrong system hasn't exactly worked in the past.
Yeah,
both of these,
I know.
But both of these species are in that system. They're in that catchment. They have caught them in the fresh in that catchment.
Oh, yes, as far as that goes, they are,
otherwise they wouldn't be considered as an option, because if the dam goes over, they're going to end up downstream in the catchment, right? So that's one of the reasons why either them, jacks, or mangrove jack, or jungle perch were the options, but jungle perch grow too slow and probably the barra eat them all.
Yeah.
And the mangrove jacks are really hard to breed in captivity and super, super expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
So to give some variety of species, which the permit holders can agree to stock or not, they're just using them as an option because well-established breeding mechanisms. They're cheap to breed. They live in fresh water, and they're available. They are native to the catchment. So that was, hopefully, we got the story straight.
Yeah. But so it's early days, and so don't go stressing everybody that. I think that's what happened when the information first came out. Everyone thought it was just a done deal, but it's not. And we've raised a lot of concerns, and the guys down in Mackay raised a lot of concerns as well.
Especially understandably because it's in their backyard.
It's in their
this
backyard.
Trial is taking place.
That's for sure.
Rodney Burton said there'll be no ducks left in the dam.
Yeah, well,
With
that
a
could
big
be.
pack of GTs hunting around.
Well, my major concern was the fact that, when barras are in the dam, the analogy I basically used was just imagine walking around your backyard and you just walk around and you just pluck a blade of grass off here and there. Well, that's how barras are sort of feeding around the place. But the big eyes, if you see them out in the wild, in the salt, if they keep the same characteristics, they pack hunt, they're very ferocious, and they'll feed and feed and feed. And that's a bit like the council lawnmower doing your lawn. So that's the big thing that we're a little bit worried about, is how they're going to how they're going to play out as far as the available bait fish goes, especially sharing it with other species.
So
any more questions there with that?
Slightly change the topic, potentially an Instagram, but I'll just go to YouTube. Hey mate, what do you look for when looking for ground on your charts like backing maps, cheers?
Well, we've got that in a lot of our courses for each different category,
On sale.
Which our courses are on sale at the moment till the 20th.
Couple more days.
Yeah, a couple more days to go. It's part of our Father's Day sale. So
we
each
go in depth in charts because Ryan does a lot of homework before he goes fishing, especially to a new area.
Yeah.
And
certain parts of charts will give away some things. Other parts of the chart work will give away a lot of the others. I can't really get into a lot of it here because of it's in our courses. So.
But yeah, jump on. Well, it depends on what you're interested in. Which course would be option. Hey mate, do you think it's possible for Townsville to install FADs like the Northern Territory?
I think, we've asked Grumper ages ago whether we can install FADs, but that was a resounding no back in those days. Yet down south in the Moreton area, in the State Marine Park, they're allowed to have FADs. Yet in the Federal Marine Park, it's a no-go. There are current markers measuring stations out there, and they act as great FADs. If you can get to them, they're a fair way out, but they're full of mahi-mahi and all sorts of things swimming around. But yeah, as far as I know, mate, nothing's changed there, and you can't dump anything in the marine park, basically, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park.
They may do it. I mean, they have done it in Moreton Bay.
Yeah, but that's State Marine Park.
Yeah.
Different.
Someone said add the Sunnies filter again. I think that will fix it. Remember the last time I pushed the wrong button and you got some weird filter?
I had some weird filter on me. I was wearing these
and I couldn't work out
bloody
how to get it on.
retro Sunnies. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Bloody
that's
hell.
right, they were aviator Sunnies.
Embarrassed me worldwide.
God, what is going on here? I've got a bad arm and I can't reach the buttons. So we've got Jason Brand said I had a similar concern when they wanted to put jacks in Tinaroo.
Yeah.
I think the thing with these Trevallies is they did say there was only a few dams that they would be able to be stocked in, even if they were approved. Need to be big enough so that they're not going to pack hunt all the bait out, and need to be close enough to the coast to be warm enough. Yeah,
that's why they're doing the some of the studies right in the southern area of our impoundments, so they can get a gauge of the water temperatures at the coolest part, that sort of thing. So there is a lot of stuff in the studies that they're going to be doing, but anyway, time will tell.
Sooties would be good too. I don't know, maybe the barra.
Well, sooties are in a lot of some of the impoundments. So I suggested milkfish to create
They were on the list.
They were on the list, yeah.
It was
And that'd create a world-class fly fishery. I mean, they're already good fly fisheries, especially for barras and that, But do we really need to have to push past the barramundi, because that's the major draw card in the impoundments, in our opinion, yeah. So anyway,
and that's what we want to make sure.
It all needs
our beautiful barra impoundments don't get, the fish don't get skinny and smaller and not
that's
grow
what
as
could
fast.
happen. If there's not enough available bait fish to do this, then the barras will suffer as well.
But like they said, it's a test. It's small enough to be contained, and if it doesn't work, then no one has to stock them anyway.
Yeah.
Richard Gilmore said the reef is the best fad.
Yeah, but the reef is the best fad in its own. But I think he was kind of referring to like isolated bits in the middle of nowhere for pelagics and that sort of stuff.
Well,
but
you find them anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of our courses have stuff on finding
new ground. Yeah, for sure. That's what they're all about, the whole lot of them.
Yeah, closer in, use less fuel.
Yeah.
The offender on YouTube said, if you only had one lure.
If I only had one lure, probably our pillager, I suppose, because you can always. It's a sinking stick bait, and you use it like a vibe. But you can also crank it in and cast it at tuna busting up, that sort of thing. It makes like a great slice as well. So that'd be probably the one that'd be most versatile. Although a scale blazer works pretty much anywhere as well, so yeah. But the sinking stick bait, definitely.
Well, if you only had one lure, then that's offshore.
Yeah. Well, no, they work in the estuaries. They work on barras and threadies.
Yeah, I'm saying you can use it in both. Whereas the scale blazer really is just.
No, we used it on the reef flats. Yeah, we did it on the reef flats and barra.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the jig.
No.
No?
No, I was saying you can use it for both, but the most versatile is probably the pillager.
Yeah, exactly. Some more questions there?
Yep.
Any more for the Trevally?
Tim's saying, I think he's referring to mangrove jacks. Expensive if they are available, but none available this previous summer. Not as effective breeding as barra, unfortunately, for commercial supplies.
Yeah, they tried it in Tinaroo, and rarely does a jack get caught up there, so...
I think it's economically,
the Trevally are going to be the...
You need something that breeds quite readily to get the babies.
Yeah, and another thing I did bring up to them about how the big eyes and all that react in the wild, in the salt, is what's going to stop them from all becoming into the one giant school. So you've got this school roving around in the dam somewhere, and there's no fishing tourism entertainment for anyone except for those who can actually be on that school on that particular day. So the schooling structure is another bit of an issue with the Trevallies too. Whereas your barras are spread out in pockets and pods and individuals and all that sort of thing,
They did say they were going to look at that too, how...
And something else that I thought of after the meeting, which I'm going to have to send off, is like with some of those places that have a lot of weed, these impoundments that do have a lot of weed, all the guys that fish in there will tell you now that, sometimes the weeds are a real nuisance, and, the barras gets, clogged up in it, and it's kind of lucky sometimes they could jump up at the boat and they get close to the boat in a hurry. But when you think about if these Trevallies grow up, to 7 odd kilos or so, which they're kind of thinking at this stage that they'll definitely probably get to that mark, they just, as everyone would know, they just straight line 100 mile an hour through as much weed as you can imagine. So you're going to have like so much braid and stuff caught up in weed. So it's the fighting style of the fish, how much line they take, and stuff like that needs to be looked at too, as compared to barramundi.
That big 120 went into the weeds, darling, and how did you get it out?
I sent the wife in with a set of goggles and a pair of flippers. Anyway, we won't go there. She headbutted it when she went down. Yeah, headbutted a big barra.
Anyway,
you got to be on our boat sometimes. You got to see the shit show that it is.
Yeah. A few people have said they like our content, which is nice.
Thank you.
A fellow said he's going to the Bay of Oman for tuna and marlin in December, which sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah, so get some giant GTs over there.
Are freshwater trevally going to taste any good? We don't eat any trevally.
We don't.
Tea leaf trevally.
Yeah. I mean, they're good, but there's a few species of trevally which are not too bad, but I think big eye are pretty average, and GT are average. But coming from the fresh, is that going to make them even more average? I'm not really sure. So. It's all new ground for, no one's an expert at all this yet. So it's early days, and who knows, it might not even happen.
Jason Kendall said, quick question, I live near the Boyne River. How come they don't stock the top of the river in the brackish with barra and jacks? A lot get necked out from the netting. Just wondering.
Yeah. I'm not sure, probably.
Because the fish stocking is generally paid for by the SIPS permits, which are in impoundments. Tristan said, have you ever fished the Johnson River? If so, what did you find worked the best?
No, those freshwater places up around the Johnson and that, I haven't really done much in that area. I know quite a few lads who have, Kim Anderson and those guys, they all head up there and he does charters there. But yeah, it's pretty much barras, jacks, tarpon, and a few of those kind of things up in the brackish areas. But yeah, mate, not a lot of experience in the Johnson. I've mostly been more in the dirtier, saltwater, muddier estuarine waters kind of regions. So yeah, not a lot of experience there.
Might have to talk louder. Someone else was saying about the audio quality not being very good. Only on Facebook.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It's a knocking sound. Oh.
Anyway, we don't know what that
Bevan on YouTube said there's no current. Won't they be fat and slow? Probably.
Not sure, mate. Whether they're going to get big and fat and slow or. It's early days. I think they're still waiting to see roughly how big they're going to grow. I think the big eyes are around about 2 kilos in a year or 1.5 kilos, something like that. So, they're kind of thinking at this stage they'll definitely get to around 6 to 7 kilos, but whether they end up 10, 15, 20 kilo fish is yet to be seen. So there's a lot of things to come out of this research yet.
What's your preferred lure to use in dams for barra? I'm doing the ABT barra series in November in Mackay.
Oh, mate, that comes down to a lot of things, Chris. Swim baits are good, paddle tails are good, curly tails are really good. They're some of my favourites. I don't fish the impoundments like I used to many years ago, but every time we do go past, we quite often call in to Peter Faust on our way south and have a bit of a flick. I think the last time we had 25 bites in an hour. It was a pretty insane little session. And that was mostly on paddle tails and curly tails. So they're my two favourites anyway, mate. Around that 5-inch mark is good. 6 as well. So yeah, that's my two favourites.
We've got a impoundment dam section in Barra Basics.
Yes.
Which is $200 off at the moment.
Yep. Barra Basics, $200 off. Sailor Skills 2, $200 off. And Finding Finger Markers, $200 off at the moment. $100 off the others. And if you want a bundle, if you want to get 2 courses, you get an extra $100 off again. So that's this.
Try and make it easy as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Righto.
Jason Brand, will they hit the red claw?
Not sure. Will the GTs eat red claw? I would probably imagine they would, because at the mouth of Myunga Creek a number of years ago on charter, we caught a GT about 15 kilos on one of our shallow divers, and when he came up alongside, in his mouth was a giant adult buck mud crab, all chewed to pieces and falling out of his mouth and everything. So he was actually choking on a crab. So if they're going to eat crab, I think they'll certainly smash a red claw. Yeah.
Tim said again, sooties, it's great having Tim here to answer questions. Thanks, Tim. Sooties are stocked in North Queensland dams currently. And there's already regular commercial supplies.
Yeah.
So they may or may not put them together with, I'm sure they'll work out what eats what over the course of this next few years.
Yeah, for sure.
And it will be up to the stocking groups to decide.
Yeah.
Could tarpon be a viable option? That was something they considered as well. I actually considered. There was
I think
15
tarpon are a
species on
bit
the
harder
list.
to get it happening in captivity.
I think your hand. Oh, is it me swiping on the phone? We're just trying to work out what the knocking is, the knocking sound. Maybe it's my knee.
Might be that hacker I hid in the cupboard. I'm going to sort him out later. You can tell we deal with a lot of hackers and shit. It's a pet hate. Anyway.
Tarpon were considered. We actually didn't get into why they were knocked off the list. The main three we've talked about.
I think they're hard to get the fingerlings. Hard to breed in captivity.
Do barra reproduce in dams? No, they don't.
No, only native freshwater fish will actually are capable of reproducing in the fresh.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions. What's the update on the shark depredation?
Okay, at the meeting we brought.
Before you jump in, nanny bag limits. Will they change them? We didn't discuss that.
We didn't discuss that.
Add that to the list.
Yeah.
Put any questions you want to have to fisheries.
But in the latest findings, as you know, they've taken it down to 4 per angler. But it did go on in the documentation to say that could easily change at the next assessment. So the nanny's still up in the air at the moment. I guess we'll just have to wait until the next assessment and fight through that, I guess, and see what happens. But
most of the conversation was about the whole, because I did a presentation, etc.
Yeah.
But now that we've opened lines of communication, we'll be harassing the hell out of them.
Yeah.
So post any questions you've got in the comments.
Yeah. So anyway, the Queensland Fisheries they've seen the problem firsthand, the shark depredation. They're certainly showing some interest. There is their latest fisheries app 2.0 has an area there where you can actually write about your trip reports, and it just asks for things like where you're on a private boat, a charter boat, your launch and retrieve details, the skipper, the number of fishes, the species caught, and the numbers kept or released, and depredation if any fish were taken by sharks. So that's the bit that they need to understand. They need this. I mean, this older study from March 2022, that was more or less about existing research on depredation, and it was all about the tuna longliners. That's the only place that they had depredation information from. But they just can't get a handle on recreational. This is all the research that's got to happen. I know people might just say, yeah, we've just got a problem, let's just start doing something about it. Unfortunately, there's hoops you've got to jump through, and the research is part of it. So, so everyone can fill out their trip reports on the 2.0 app. That would be very beneficial, that's for sure. Now, there is a part under there that says your fishing location and fishing method, but you do not have to enter those. And that's what it says. And you can put some photos in as well if you wish.
Now, the big concern though about doing that is if shark depredation is found to go through the roof, what are fisheries managers going to do? Are they going to change the management methods and allow a more, find better ways to utilise sharks and pull some out of the system, or are they just going to cut our bag limits in half and go, the sharks are eating all the fish, and so you now only have one? So that's my concern, and I don't want to get political, but I think a change of government is required to.
It's hard not to be political. We were never political in the last couple of years. I mean, what do? You just sit back and get walked over, or what? Or do you say something? Some people don't like us being political.
One interesting thing, though, that Dallas did say was after the election, the rules on shark
could change.
I don't know whether that was cryptic.
We know that. Oh well, look, we know that Labor's got their under the thumb from the Greens and all these overseas mobs that keep poking their nose into our lives here and making the rules for us. But anyway, that's what really has to happen. Is one important thing is we do need a change of government.
Yeah, I think that will.
I mean, vote for whoever you want for.
We're not telling you.
We're not telling you to vote for, but trust me, if you're a fisherman, yeah, it'll be beneficial.
Might be the way to go. And you know what? We have been. There has been a few meetings in town around here. None by Labor. We have been invited to quite a few meetings by the new Liberal.
Well, Susan McDonald, the Liberal senator, she invited us to have a discussion about it all. Bree James, the local member here, and she's Liberal. And we also had a meeting with the Shadow Minister for Fisheries, Tony Perrott, as well.
Wanting to find out.
They're up here putting their feelers out because a lot of them, they're fishermen as well. So, yeah.
And in Hinchinbrook and it.
Yep, definitely.
So, that's just our two bobs. Whether, So shark depredation, that is the issue. If we all tell them how much things are getting decimated, they've got two options: cut the recreational catch limits, or do something about the shark problem.
Well, over in Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, it is such a massive problem over there now. The same rules applied 14 years ago, protecting the whalers under the same banner as whites and all that. But and don't get us wrong, anyone new watching tonight, we don't want to see all the sharks wiped out. No. It's just because of what legislation that a handful of species of whalers have really gotten out of control. Just because the dodo's extinct, it doesn't mean you go and protect all the minor birds. So that's basically what's happened. So for those of you who are joining in, it's not like we want to kill every shark.
A change in rules. 12 years ago.
And we respect tigers and whites and all those that are protected. But you just can't put whalers in the same basket and expect everything to remain sweet.
Oh, but the news is they've got national funding from the FRDC, which is a Federal Fisheries Research Development Corporation. It's where all the big money comes from for these studies into shark depredation. So they've done the first start, which was a review and some workshops, and then they've made some measures, and we have asked for a meeting with Dallas and the executive director and his team that are working on the shark stuff.
Yeah.
So
and we'll be chasing some other industry representatives, like maybe some spearfishing club, recreational clubs, commercial boys.
Ask them if we can record it, and that way we can put it out there. So
things are slowly turning around as far as the shark depredation goes, and it's a good sign. Let's just keep pushing forward with it, and let's just hope the election goes the right way, and
and hope they do something about it.
Exactly.
That's the next problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we still have people power in the very end, when push comes to shove,
Scotty J said, "G'day legends, just got back from a full day fishing for barra, used the gold scale bozer for the first time and we smacked 15 legal barra.
Nice one, mate.
Glad I'm back for the Facebook Live.
Go and grab another gold one. They work well, especially in your waters up there. Yeah.
Gavin said, great content, maybe an external mic. Yeah, we have got an external mic on the YouTube, but not the Facebook.
These phones, just maybe because the microphone's underneath them. Anyway.
Well, we haven't had this problem before. I don't know why it's doing it today, but that's what we'll do. A new mic. Sorry about the audio.
Yeah,
Ryan's hand on the table. So knocking that happens every now and again.
Not for you swiping. You're used to swiping at me, not the phone.
George said, please start a conversation between fisheries and the everyday fisher. That's what we're trying to do.
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. We're trying to bridge the gaps. Everyone comes to us, we get thousands of messages about this, that, the other, and that's what we're trying to do is help out, get the message out there, get the message to all these guys and that sort of stuff. But I think things will follow suit as to what's happening in the US. The the researchers over, the shark researchers over there now are actually working with the fisheries groups, and they're coming up with ways of culling the whalers over there and turning them back into a commercial viable fishery. So probably, I would imagine that would probably follow suit here. But like I said, there's a few things that have got to go away first.
Clara said, I think it's me, it could be me swiping. It might, because I've just had my nails done for the first time for Ryan's son. One of his 2 sons is getting married on the weekend. So I had my nails done, and it might be hitting the screen.
Yeah, that's what it'll be.
Clara picked it up. Anyway, I'm trying to
So it's not the hacker in the cupboard after all.
I'm trying to use my thumb now. Chris said, is Saratoga in the conversation or off the cards as not native? They said it wasn't native.
To that area, to that catchment, yeah.
Michael, hiya legends. He's
G'day, mate.
out on all of our lives.
How are ya?
Thank you. Let me just keep scrolling. Ryan's, no, it's not Ryan's hand. Oh, it might be my fingers, and I've just had shoulder surgery, so I can't reach with my arm. Sorry. Tim said Saratoga is off limits due to the translocation policy.
Yeah.
Nanny stock assessment did not include shark depredation. Rich is all happy on that. We need to talk to Richard.
We need to do a blog with the commercial guys about all this as well.
So a few people have asked about the nanny's stock assessment too. So we definitely need to maybe talk to.
It's hard to stay on top of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got other businesses to run. But anyway, we're slowly pushing forward with this, and let's just hope we've got some movement in the right direction.
Yeah.
So.
The High Life on YouTube. Done any fishing in the Great Sandy Straits, Harvey Bay? Just had changes to commercial netting rules. How long do you think it will take to see improvements in the area?
I have done a little bit of fishing down there, not a big heap, but our students have. That's where I hear what's going on. Especially Steve-O and Andrew and that they're catching some good fish in certain locations at certain times down there. The first time we went down, we went searching around with the sounder. We were just on our way through. So we thought we'd go for a bit of a sticky beak, and we found 4 locations that had good barras on them. But that was about 5 years ago now, that was. So, and like I say, our students are doing quite well. They're getting better. It's getting better. So that's a good sign.
Best tips on catching and reading nanny guy on a Furuno sounder.
Or sounder skills too. Yeah. So it's all good it's all about settings and
wonky holes if you want to know where to find them.
Yeah. You find them elsewhere too. That's in our tropical snapper course we're building soon.
Paul Van Houtsen said they will cut the bag limits for sure. Look at what's happening in WA. You can only fish for half a year.
But WA has, without a doubt, the strictest, most anal fishery regulations you've ever come across. And if it goes that way here, it's not going to be pleasant.
I must say, I was a bit speaking to, especially that senator. What was her name?
Susan McDonald.
She was very much like, I don't know. She didn't use the term the woke virus, but she did use the term that there is all the departments have been infiltrated by very much green influence.
That's what's going on.
It needs to be brought back to a balance. And so
if you've got conflict of interest and you're in Parliament, you don't belong there.
Well, they're in a lot of the department. It's in a lot of the departments.
I know.
So we just have. We
know who a few of them are.
We just have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
To make sure that we are the majority. We're the voters, and a lot of the people making the rules have never been in a boat in their life.
We're the fundraisers. That's all we are.
And so that's the thing. We are planning on getting a lot more involved than we ever have been.
Yeah. Well, now's the time.
And now is.
If we're going to make a difference. Now from now on is the time.
Yeah. Now, where are we? sharks are bad, and our whales are also getting a bit out of control.
We don't mind the whales.
We don't mind the whales.
Just got to keep your eyes peeled. I'd rather have whales everywhere than bull sharks.
Yeah, just avoid the whales.
Yeah.
I mean, they very occasionally jump on boats, but I mean, you've probably got far more dangerous getting in your car if you don't go too close to them. Andy said, where are you located, mate? I'm thinking of moving to Queensland from Mackay up to Cairns. Where would you live?
Cooktown.
No.
I love Cooktown. I've always wanted to get a block in the bush up there. I mean, yeah, Cairns is great. We do, just remember though, the further north you come, the worse the trade winds are, because you're further away from the centre of the highs, and how the trade winds push in against the coast. Sometimes in that Mackay with Sunday area, it'll swing more easterly, and it seems to be like a bit of a buffet, and you're getting 5 to 10s there, but we're still getting 15 to 20 here. So that's one thing to keep in the back of your mind, that the further north you go, the less times you're going to get out during that cooler period of the year.
Cardwell would have been perfect if your wife didn't like going to the theatre, the movies.
Yeah, I know.
Having more than 2
If you like the small town kind of syndrome, a bit like me.
You've got so many options. Virtually you can fish every day except a cyclone.
Yeah, you can catch meter barrels off the beachfront, the rock walls, wherever, and great access to the reef. It's just got a boat ramp full of mud.
But if your wife likes shopping, you might have to drive there.
Yeah.
Could I buy a Garmin EcoMap Ultra 126 12-inch from the USA and put an Australian map card in it and have it work? It's $1,000 saving out of the USA. I don't think you can.
I don't know. I mean, I've never done it. I mean, I don't know much about that, mate. And I think there is something that you can't do. Yeah, anyway, it's one of those things I don't keep track of, but yeah.
Jason said in the USA, you can keep one shark. Would they consider something like that?
I think you can do that here too, but when we say protected, I often say virtually protected. You can take one here too, up to 1.5, but what used to happen years ago? See, we've structured our fisheries over time. And it's and back then, the commercial guys were allowed 10 per line endorsement. Now they're only allowed 1. There used to be finning practices, this, that, the other, and but now with them being almost totally protected, they've just boomed out of control. So. It's just one of those things, I guess.
We need to all pull our collective hats on and think of a commercial use for
giant bull
sharks.
That's the problem. A lot of them are getting 3.5 meters.
Yeah.
They're big whalers.
And that takes up a lot of room.
We never used to see any shark whalers.
Bring them home for $1 a kilo, 10 cents a kilo or something,
The whalers were never that big.
So everyone needs to put their thinking cap on. I did come up with shark skin boots.
Yeah.
It's very expensive, shark leather.
Yeah. Could be fertiliser, you don't know. Someone done a recipe on a big bull shark. Remember that? They reckon it's bloody delicious. So, I don't know. We might be able to ask Richard and some of the commercial boys.
What do you do with the rest of the 6 feet of the shark? We're going to eat it every night.
Oh, I don't know.
For a month.
Give it to the neighbours. Mother-in-law. I don't know.
My ex was a commercial mackerel fisherman on the Gold Coast, and there was quite a few wrecks there that used to sell their fish on the black.
Yeah.
And that was like, how many friends have you got?
Yeah, that's it. And they're out there every day, getting their fill every day.
Before the bag limits changed, there was like, you could catch 20 of them or something, 6 foot long Spanish mackerel.
Yeah.
How many friends have you got?
That's right.
For 3 months of the season.
More questions?
Yes. Vote Labor Teals in the green. High Romany fishing. What about the trout? Trout? No? There's
been nothing said about the trout. I think bag limits, that sort of thing. Is that what you're talking about? Like changes in them, mate? I do believe they do have the harvest strategies coming up, but for that'll be at some stage. It might be a year or two away yet, but I think a lot of the species are going to go through the harvest strategy process. Anyway, it's all in front of us.
Hey Ryan, can you check out my channel Outdoor Aussies on YouTube and give me some tips on my videos? Well, if we get a minute, we can.
If we get a minute,
take a look. Let me just write down the name.
We get a lot of that. Just become a very good editor, mate.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
And film selectively, otherwise you're editing for 10 years.
That's right.
It's very time consuming. You spend all day fishing and then have to watch the whole day again.
Over and over and over.
Again.
Yeah.
Can I get a couple of tips from my barramundi videos? Awesome. We do get asked a lot to, watch other people's stuff.
Should do a course on it, shouldn't we?
How to make videos.
Yeah. Fishing videos.
We'll give it a look, mate. If we get a chance.
Yeah, we're really busy at the moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult for us to watch a lot of stuff. The fishing has been epic off Mackay for the last 3 months. That's good.
Yeah, you guys will be getting out more than us, that's for sure.
And someone said, I live in Coffs Harbour, loads of whales and good fish never seem to have a shark problem. Is that a state thing?
It's tropical and subtropical is the worst areas for the whalers and that. But I don't think you're going to see the issues with the whalers down in southern waters like we have up here. Yeah, it's just one of those. How far south is the problem? Well, I know Moreton Bay is full of sharks and that, but to where it actually ends, I'm not sure. I know people are saying there's also lots and lots of juvenile whites around now too, like around that 2 metre mark. So those rules they brought in 14 years ago are certainly working. Just that whites and that are much, they don't have the productive rate of the whalers. Thank God. Can you imagine that? 16 million white sharks roaming around the beaches. Politicians will take note then, won't they?
They would. Have you done a Swains trip before?
Well, we attempted a Swain. We go up north a lot, and it's absolutely amazing up there. I just can't get enough of it. There's just so many new places to go each time. But yeah, we tried a Swains trip 2 years ago, and we got to Townsville, and the water tank split in the boat.
We wondered why our water maker wasn't working after I just serviced.
No, we wondered why it was working overtime. Yeah. And anyway, so long story short, we had to turn around basically and took about 6 weeks to get it fixed because it's right down in the heart of the boat. We had to cut all sorts of things out, battery boxes. Yeah. It was the worst part. The worst part of the boat you could possibly want to reach.
Couldn't have been in a more difficult spot under the cabin.
Yeah. So we came back and we wrote that trip off. Also because we were still wondering whether we should turn around and go back south or just start doing our northern trip. And at the time, when we looked ahead in the weather, it was like a week and a half of 20 to 25 and 30s down that way. And there was a big buffet to the north. So we just said, bugger it, let's just go north. So we haven't had a chance to go back and try our Swains trip. But we went down to Yeppoon last year and fished at a lot of the islands and Port Clinton and those sort of places, and just had a bit of a sticky beak around those kind of areas.
Big cat reality if you want to go out to the Swains.
Yeah, big cat realities.
The Garmin guys go on and that's what fun time they have.
That's it.
So, and I have been on that boat. I did my coxswains on that boat.
Did you?
Yeah, spent a week. We were just hooning and...
You were hooning in a, 70-foot cat,
no,
were you?
we had all the marine parks boats.
Oh.
The rubber duckies.
Oh, you done the hooning in the marine parks boats.
Yeah.
Hooning. There you go. That's what they do. Yeah.
We were racing in the middle of the night to see who could navigate the quickest and get back, and nearly took out a couple of guys fishing with no lights. Luckily, they just lit up a cigarette.
What a government department's doing hooning. She's blushing.
Not hooning exactly. Kind of racing hooning. I don't know. But yeah, no, we had some fun with Jimmy. So Big Cat Reality, highly recommended.
Yeah, good bunch of blokes.
So, Ryan, can I hire you as a skipper to take a group out on a 7.6 yellowfin for a mate's birthday?
I don't really do that sort of stuff anymore. Because what we do is if we make those plans,
Yeah,
I can do it as a consultant, but I can't do it as a charter. If I make plans and then all of a sudden we sometimes drop everything at a moment's notice to go away and do things, and if I've got something, you know, you got to cancel it and try and book it again. So we moved away from that sort of stuff.
Well, we do our courses now. So
that's why we have our courses.
If you do the course, then you get access to Ryan in the study groups, and if you go on our website and have a look on the reviews page, you'll see around 1,000 reviews of people that have done our courses that have are catching amazing fish. So you don't have to pay someone to take you out then.
What we are thinking of doing next year is a cheap, maybe $35, don't know yet, a course on GPSs, how to use them properly, all the different functions, plus what you should and shouldn't do, because a mate of mine just recently, his young fella borrowed his boat and they went out at night, and the zoom wasn't right, there was no header line, there was no track, and the momentum of the sea pushed him into a headland. So, there's a lot of things that you can, you know, do to really confuse yourself, especially at night. We don't know whether we're going to do it as just a separate cheapie or we're going to do it in a boat safety course yet, but...
Jason Brand said flake is no comparison to a nanny.
No.
We're a little bit spoiled up here.
We are very spoiled up here.
They love their shark down in Melbourne.
I had flake down in Melbourne, the gummy.
But it's not...
It wasn't
like
too bad.
Shark, is it? Isn't it?
No.
Deep water funny ones we caught deep dropping that day?
No.
Green
The gummies are an inch more of a nice meat shark. There's a few species. You got the sharp-nosed whalers. They were caught commercially up here. There's quite a few sharks that taste quite good, but we just don't bother up here so much.
Ryan Moody Fishing. Commercial net fishers need full support from the department for proper trials of multi-hook fishing for sharks. Currently not permitted by Gabrumpa.
That Nathan?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of the commercial guys are trying, to come up with some other apparatus that they can use that's going to help catch, cull a lot of these sharks.
And we are
and get a market.
concerned about the eradication of nets because they catch a lot of those baby sharks. And
like if you like bait in the shallows around sort of October as it starts to warm up now, sometimes you'll just lose every bait to a juvenile whaler. That's how bad it's getting.
And with now the just dramatic, instantaneous eradication of gill nets in the shallows to protect the reef, even though they're not on the reef.
Yeah.
It could create even more of a problem. Yeah. And, this eradication of the commercial guys, the recreational guys are next, it's time for us all to stick together.
Yeah.
Because it seems that, the powers that be seem to...
I'll say it again.
They're not into...
change of government.
Yeah. Richard Gilmore, can you give us an idea on what you think will solve the shark problem? They're not commercially viable at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's what we need to come up with. That's the $30,000 question. You would think it would be something commercial. I've got no idea. They could go back to using the oil. They could go back to using the fins, that sort of thing. But just make it a select amount. Yeah. Have a select amount of sharks. We don't want to wipe out...
Keep your hands on the table. I think it is your hands. On or off?
Off. Yeah, that's the problem, Richard. We just got to come up with a market or open existing markets, whatever sharks are allowed to be taken, you get the fins, the oil and all that sort of stuff, and maybe pet meat.
Shark fins, direct import to Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if they're killed humanely, I think the big issue with the shark finning was they were chopping their fins off and just throwing them over the side, and that stuff. I mean, no critter deserves that. No,
we just want a balanced fishery. That's all we want.
Tell the rich people they're endangered, shark on the menu, and they'll pay a fortune for it. Maybe.
Well, part of the problem was Coles and Woolies stopped buying shark years ago because an ex-former environmental minister stop them from selling shark.
Looks like Ryan needs a rum.
Yeah, I will by the end of the year, don't you worry. yeah, we're looking to go away for about 3 months this year. Really looking forward to that. This time we're heading up past Lockhart River to the Great Detached Reefs and a few places we haven't been up there yet, and really looking forward to it. Get back around Lizard around that Christmas time, just in case there's any big blowies that come in.
Jeffrey said he's posted the link to Facebook if anyone wants to transfer to YouTube. The sound is so much better, and someone else just said they've swapped over to YouTube and the sound is a lot better. There's something wrong with your phone, the sound. So,
well,
sorry about
sorry
that.
guys.
But there's Instagram or YouTube you can swap to if you need to. David said you're allowed to keep 1 or 2 reef sharks now, but nobody does. Who wants a 5-foot reef shark going nuts
That's
in
the
your
thing.
18-foot boat? Powerheads.
Exactly. But you know, it's going to come to the point where there's going to be a lot of discussion about the mitigation and what needs to be done and how it is going to be done. So who knows what's going to happen with it yet? We've just got to try and get them to understand that there is a problem, which they do now. It's just a matter of moving forward. So if anybody's got any great ideas, what you can do with big giant trunks of whalers, we'd be all ears.
Defender on YouTube said he just bought a holiday cabin at Lucinda. Now all his old mates are coming out of the mangroves.
Old mates coming out of the mangroves, yeah.
And Rob said, first time I've heard of this stocking idea. It sounds crazy to me. Who'd want to catch a dam, Trev? I just can't fathom that idea. It sounds like the next Murray River carp problem.
We've had a lot of comments along those lines, yeah.
But I think we're a bit spoiled up here. If you go from someone in Melbourne, maybe, although they would want to come up and catch a barra, you know, wouldn't they? I don't get it, but
we're not supporting it 100%. We're not poo-pooing it at the moment, but you got to get down to the nitty-gritty and make sure it all works first, and then make decisions from there.
Yeah. Ryan, you won't do this on your own. What about the fish are lost from first hookup? That is the ones that matter. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah.
Maybe they get chased away. I don't know. You might have to rewrite that comment. There might have been a typo in there. Only allowed them up to 1.5 metres.
Yeah. One shark to 1.5 is the rules at the moment.
Yep. Nathan said, great idea about the vlog with commercial fishers. On YouTube for better audio. Ninglo 2 weeks ago in the local Spiro said a lot less sharks over the previous years. Well, that's good.
Yeah, maybe they're all moving here. Actually, this time of year in the winter months is less issues, but pretty soon it's going to ramp up big time again. That's what happens.
Alan said, I think he's after jewfish around the Tweed, northern New South Wales. Do the barra course or question mark? Finding finger mark.
Probably the finger mark course would be better.
Sounder skills 2 and the finger mark course. Guys are catching dewies.
All sorts of
pink
things.
snapper, pearl perch in New South Wales. And jewfish and that sort of thing around Western Australia. Jewfish with a D. And doing very well. So finding finger marks like the all-round course.
For lots of those kind of species.
Boat and if sounder skills 2 and finding finger mark, it's $400 off if you buy the 2 of them.
Yeah, at the moment.
$400 off. Taking my 54-year-old Quintrex for a burn tomorrow after 3.5 years. If I catch anything, I'll be happy. If I don't, I won't. Wow.
Just enjoy the day, mate.
Yeah.
It's all about getting out there as well. It's nice to catch a few fish, but yeah, just get out there and enjoy it.
Got any Stella reel? Is the trout bag limit the stale? Have you got any Stella reel? Don't you love spell check fishing stuff? Right? It's the bane of our lives.
Yeah.
We are it changes words, changes locations, it's the right pain.
It is.
Is the trout bag limit the same? I guess you could answer that one.
Well, the trout bag limit hasn't changed yet, so it's still 7. So, but yeah, I don't know when that stock assessment's going to happen, when the trout is going to happen. From what I understand, the red emperor could be next. There's nowhere really defined this information. They're not going to tell you what they're going to come and do next. All you do is hear some rumours in amongst the fishing fraternity, but maybe some of the commercial boys might know what's coming next, but I dare say all our good species will eventually go through the stock assessment mill.
Andrew said flake was always available at Woolies, but he hasn't seen it for ages.
Yeah.
And someone said you look better on Facebook.
I look better on Facebook? God.
Oh no, live video ended. What?
Well, you will run it on 3 things. Naturally, there's going to be a trouble on one of them.
No, we've lost Instagram.
Oh well.
Sorry, Instagram people.
Some more questions there?
There is. Oh, sorry about my nails on this. With my shoulder surgery, I can't move my arm. What's your take on the GW population in this country? Do you believe they're nearing extinction? Maybe great white?
The great white. If it's great white, no. Apparently they're not near. They're certainly not near extinction. Their numbers have bounced back quite nicely, and I think that Jervis Bay area down there, northern New South Wales as well, they're actually finding lots of areas where lots of these juveniles are, and they've never seen numbers like that before. So the great whites are bouncing back in numbers, and certainly nowhere near being extinct. I can remember years ago the greenies came out with there's only 25 great whites left in southern waters in Australia. I mean, how the hell would you know there's only 25 great whites left?
They have spots. No, it's the grey nurse that have spots.
In the deepest blue ocean that runs for miles. Yeah, but anyway, there's certainly nothing wrong with the whites numbers. They're coming back.
Nathan said there's an export market for shark into Asian countries, just needs further development and exploration, which is expensive but not impossible. Smaller shark are very easily sold in Queensland if treated well and plenty of ice used. Yeah, I think that's the sharp-nosed whalers. I think they're the ones that are mostly used in Queensland waters. But Nathan will be able to correct me there. But yes, it'll be good to do a blog with these commercial guys so we get a full understanding of what's involved for them, and get to the bottom of some of these bits and pieces we may not know about. Hey mate, we're heading down to Townsville for the holidays and we'll be fishing off the pier. What type of lures and bait will be good for mackerel?
Good for mackerel? Well, if you're fishing off the pier, you want to have good weather and large tides in the morning when you have the cleaner water come into the beaches. If it's just been blowing 25 knots for a week, you probably won't have any luck because the water will be brown. But metal slices is going to be your best bet. So you want calm water, you want larger morning tides and metal slices. That would, if you're going to catch doggy mackerel off the pier.
Instagram's coming back. Take 2 on Instagram. There is a first half of this. We lost.
Good old technology.
We lost connection.
Yeah.
How much do you charge to skipper a boat for a day off Cairns? Oh, we already answered that. We don't really do
that. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. No.
A few more whites might help clean up the bullies. Well, it's probably true, but I don't think they get much of them up here. I think it's the limit of their range, white sharks.
There's been a couple seen up this way. Hinchinbrook, that's the furthest north.
Chasing the whales.
Yeah, and it's generally after a strong southerly wind, and they're mostly seen on the surface. So I'm just wondering, whether they do kind of get a little bit mixed up in the currents during winter. There has been a really big white seen near Eva Island, another one near the Seahound wreck. That's off Hinchinbrook. There was another white seen out off Townsville near the Bomber wreck as well. So that's 3 that I know of that have been seen, and 2 of them were from people who originally from down south and they were game fishermen, so they knew what a white looked like. I think the one that the white that they've put a sat tag on Came up as far as Bowen before it turned around and went south again. So, yeah, there's every chance that the odd great white certainly gets up this way at times.
In a river, how do you get the best out of side scan?
Sound skills too.
Sound skills too.
Yeah.
Actually, sound skills one's pretty good.
Yeah, that
It's
helps.
only $20.
Yeah, that helps you understand how you're stretching fish and how you're shrinking fish and how you're making big fish look small and small fish look big, and
I think, do
teaches
we do
you-
a creek assessment in sound skills 1 or
No,
in sound skills 2?
2. Yeah. That goes into all the tuning and stuff more in Sound Skills 2.
Sound skills 1 is thrown in with sound skills 2 on special at the moment, $200 off.
Yeah.
And just go and have a look at the reviews. Everyone thinks it's amazing. From creeks to offshore out to 400 metres.
Yeah.
How to drive the boat, how to position the boat, all sorts of practical stuff. How to find fish hidden in the reds at the bottom. How to, even if you don't have
It's all about
side scan, down scan.
Yeah.
It's about
how different beam angles interact with different things and
different.
how fish are hidden a lot of the time.
It really is how to find the best spots.
It's about using, Sound Skills 2 is all about using a sounder for fishing out in the field.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Ryan takes you out in the field and explains what he says.
Yeah.
Do you know if they will review the mackerel limit? It's just not worth going out for one.
Not sure, mate. But, there's little questions we can put aside to find out a bit more what's going on. Well, the mackerel are like flies. The Spaniards, there wasn't really an issue with them anyway, but as we all know, but yeah, there's certainly a lot of reports coming through that the Spaniards are just jumping everywhere. So who knows? It might change, mate. They might take it back to 2 per person or something. We'll find out, I suppose, in the next couple of years.
Yep. Is your course one off payment or ongoing? One off payment.
Yeah, the Sound Skills 1, that's only the $20 course.
No, they're all one off payment.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sound Skills 2, if you want to ask Ryan fishing related questions, because it really is quite cheap. Everyone says we should have charged thousands for it. Because we've made it cheaper to make it more accessible, we didn't want to get it overrun by questions. So if you want to ask questions, there is a $20 a month charge for questions, which you can unsubscribe at any time.
Yeah.
But the basic course that you have for life, all of our courses are a one-off payment.
And the inner circle area,
Yeah.
which is normally $1 extra when you first purchase, you get 1 month in the inner circle group. And there's also the inner circle section also has another 50 plus videos.
Yeah, based on questions that we've been asked,
Yeah.
Ryan goes out.
And lots of things to do with illusions and
you don't have to worry about subscriptions coming in forever. How often would a person need to check the bag limits with it changing all the time? Good question, Clara.
year to year, I guess. So I think if you get on the Fisheries newsletter though, you can find out that way when they have these changes. Yeah, for sure.
As kids, there was always shark on the menu at fish and chip shops, potential market and solution to the issue. Maybe. It just depends on if those bigger whalers are not too big to be eaten now safely, because some of them will carry, I don't know a lot about it, but... Was it Nathan or Richard just said that there is a market for the smaller sharks? There is market for the smaller sharks, yeah, but I'm just saying the bigger sharks, which is where a lot of the problem lies at the moment. It's finding a market for those that doesn't revolve around human consumption. Richard said the last coral trout stock assessment was 59%. Well, you would think that would be pretty safe. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Thoughts on people bagging live scope when they've got a 16-inch hummingbird in their boat? Hayden Porter. This is a Facebook site just designated to have got people who use live scope. And that's amongst all the brands, the different live scope bagging site. Yeah. It's fun. Ryan doesn't use it most of the time, doesn't he? Well, I haven't been barra fishing much in recent years. But the couple of times we have used it, watching. I use it extensively to start with. Yeah, just haven't used it a lot lately. Yeah, we've got to do a bit more of a course on it because there's a few tricks to it. Yeah. Where is the bucket list fishing spot you have not been but would love to go?
There's northern WA, I guess. Nice to get over there at some stage. Chasing the big tarpon over
In America.
In America. Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to put that on my bucket list is Antarctica. No fishing, of course.
No.
Ryan's is...
Drop me off on the way.
I'll drop you off on the way and come pick you up on the way through.
That's it.
I go to Galapagos, Antarctica.
Take your time.
Machu Picchu. And you'll just fish with giant tarpon.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Sharks need a cull. The only problem, mate, is you can't get the bastards up most of the time.
That's the problem. They're all getting too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cobia recently caught off the pier in Townsville. What's Gavin?
Yeah, they do get all sorts of bits and pieces down there. Like I say, if you get that clean ocean water in the morning, especially in the cooler months, you'll get the doggy mackerel and or cobias. They all wander on the flats. You get them over in the old seagrass beds near Alligator Creek and off Long Beach and all that. We used to get cobia up in 1.5 metres, 2 metres of water in amongst the school mackerel and that.
They're probably hanging around all those bloody sharks.
Probably.
That's just an increase in habitat for cobia, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do. Cobias do hang off big sharks. So.
Yeah, they do. Nathan said it'd be nice if a quota increase would reflect a good stock assessment.
Mm.
Yeah, it's sort of, back in the day when they brought in the green zones, it was like, we're going to protect 33% of the fishery and that's it, everything's going to be well and good.
Mm.
And it's just taking more and more and more, isn't it?
It is.
That was just a foot in the door.
And just recently, some of the green groups are now having a go at our government because they've spent billions on our reef, protecting our reef and fixing our reef over the years, but they're all saying that it's as sick as hell. So why hasn't all this money worked? So now they're kind of having a bit of an infight.
Well, I can assure them that it has worked. Where we go,
the reef does not
from the main town, the reef is magically beautiful.
The reef does not need funding to fix it. Just leave the bloody thing alone. All those billions of dollars that could have been put into housing and hospitals and
Well, you want to make sure that it's not getting worse, but I don't know where they get their figures from, because where we go, I mean, admittedly we do go north, but then the water's supposed to be warmer north,
yeah.
But it is pristine. I mean, the reef's a bit. There's sides of the reef where it's all smashed up. The bad side.
Yeah, it's
the
always
surf side.
Yeah, well, that's where all the conservation groups take their photographs, where the waves smash the coral.
Yeah.
It's always been like that. Always will be.
Yeah. Next Spanish mackerel stock assessment will be out early 2025. That's Richard.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a delay here because it's taken me a while to go through the comments.
Yeah.
Have too many sharks in Western Australia. I live in the Pilbara and it's really bad.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Any thoughts on changing SIP permit to all freshwater licence? Oh, it's a bit squishy. It's very difficult because I've got this thing in the middle and I can't get rid of it. Sorry. Any thoughts on changing SIP permit to all freshwater licence for all dams and freshwater rivers and weirs, or salt and fresh water licence to align Queensland with the other states? Ooh, that's probably a contentious issue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me personally, I don't have a problem paying a licence, but I mean, when you think about all the little
I've
kids
paid
we
licences
see,
to fish my entire life as a charter fisherman. We've always paid licences.
But what about all the kids?
But,
we
yeah,
drive over our bridge and there's kids fishing, and
yeah,
that some people can't afford it. So I don't know. That's above our pay grade.
Yeah. At the moment, anyway.
Have you got a smaller reel? Are they looking at those ones behind you? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, they're all in the shed, the little ones.
Exporting shark fins to Asia. What's your thought on lures for chasing reef fish in 30 metres of water?
Oh, well, 30 metres generally, if you haven't got too much run, you can use vibes, or we use sinking stick baits, our pillager, and of course slow pitch jigs as well, particularly if you do have a little bit of run.
Tessa said, sorry for joining late. Can I rewatch on the podcast? Yeah, we will be posting this on Facebook and... Oh my God, we're at the end of our questions. We will be posting it on Facebook I don't know, we'll be posting it somewhere.
Yeah. Including all the technical problems.
I was going to say, where are we posting it? I don't know. Jeffrey or Cara wrote, yeah, you'll be able to rewatch on Facebook once it's finished, or on YouTube.
So if anybody has any other, topics, not topics, but, about the Trevally and the shark depredation and things that may not have been taken into account yet, or just pop it in the comments there and we'll have a look and we'll, can take some of these questions to Fisheries.
I might actually write down dot points what they did say, and I'll put it on our blog.
Yeah.
That might be the best thing.
That's it.
Mark said we've had a fishing licence in New South Wales for 18 years. Yeah, well, user pays, I guess. If we can,
kids
under 16 should not need a licence.
Yeah.
That's the way around it, isn't it?
Exactly. There needs to be a limit there somewhere.
But as long as the money goes to fisheries and not to funding, Albo's travels to whatever, Airbus Albo or bloody, limousines.
Hopefully he'll be outback Albo by the end of this election, next year.
Depends on what what's important to you, I guess. Have you been to any of the barra farms up north?
Yeah, we went to one in Darwin. We went to another one somewhere. I can't remember where it was now.
Where we hand fed the barra.
Oh yeah, well, that was
slow mo. That was pretty cool.
That was at Bent. It's called BENT in Darwin. It's the guys out there got a couple of lakes stocked with meat along barra. And you can just walk out and you can hand feed them. They take them right out of your fingers.
And they also...
You can feel them swimming around your legs.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's frightening when they buff first until you kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
But the other thing they've got is they've made sculptures from bits of metal, and they're amazing, like Transformer monster sculptures.
Yeah. What's that? Alien Predator.
Yeah, and
they've made
tables
those.
made out of it.
It's all made out of bits of car parts and that. It's pretty cool.
You've got kids in Darwin.
Yeah, it's a good little
What's
day.
It called?
Bent, BENT.
Okay.
Barra Experience Northern Territory, I think.
We went there before it opened, actually.
Yeah.
Friends of friends.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Great place.
Do you think the limit on Spanish is too low? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's got to come up at least a little bit because it's the charter boats too. People pay good money to go on these charter boats, and if they drop it to one of each species, if it got that bad that that's where our bag limits were at. I mean, the charter boat industry will just crumble. It's just not going to work anymore. They pay a lot of money to go out, and they can only bring back one trevally. I mean, one trout, one red, and one mackerel. Well, that's it. It's just there's no enjoyment there anymore, and people are not getting their money's worth. But not that personally, I don't think it's all about going out there and bringing home, your money back in fillets. It's the experience, but you still want to bring something home for the family.
Yeah, for sure.
More than just one each.
Ben said it goes to new boat ramps and fish stocking. That's the licence in New South Wales.
Yeah. If we can get a Queensland fishing licence that was run by the fishermen, and it would certainly help us and give us a little fighting fund, and it put us in good stead. Put it that way, a lot better than what we are now.
He said the barra farms up north. There's one in Port Douglas. Yeah, we are near Port Douglas, but we haven't been to that.
We just haven't been to them. Yeah.
Have you spent much time at Port Alma?
A little bit of time. We called in there just for a couple of days at the end of the barra season this year, because we were down on Yeppoon at the time. We just done our trip through Shoalwater and stuff, and we ducked down there for a few days and found some barras, but we had like 22 degrees in the water. That was a really weird October. All the ocean water out the front was 22 degrees, where it should have been 28, and yet up the river was 27.
We did film some of our barra course in Port Alma.
Yeah.
One of the advanced videos.
We've been down there a few times now, and actually Maxie did lose an absolute giant the last trip. That was a big fish.
When are you going to do another mud crabbing episode? We're just putting together.
We're just putting it together.
That's why we haven't been fishing, because it takes so long to put these courses together.
Yeah, bit of a work year for us this year. We do have to keep making some products as well.
That'll be maybe October, end of October.
Mm.
Have you done much deep dropping fishing off cans?
A bit early on in the piece. Done a bit down the Gold Coast after that, but not in recent times. But I got the reel sitting behind me, and I am going to be doing some deep dropping. So.
And Harry, I think Harry joined before. Yes, Harry, to answer your question.
Thanks, mate. Yep, the 16s did arrive. Yeah.
What's some tips for finding barra in cans?
Oh, do barra basics. Yeah, it's too much to go into.
Yeah. If you could only choose one place to fish forever, where would it be and why? Surely it's Hinchy. Hayden Porter.
Cooktown.
Cooktown. He loves Cooktown. He wants to live there, but wife's not that keen. I did 10 years in Cardwell, and it's enough. I need more stimulation. Working from home in a little country town with 3 restaurants all serving the same palmy and chips, rump and chips, and...
So you needed more stimulation for you to stay, is that what you mean?
Mental.
We won't go there.
Mental stimulation.
Oh, right. Okay.
You being a blokey bloke, you know. Stocked impoundment permit scheme. Double check DAF website for dams and weirs not covered under the scheme. Not all dams are in the SIPS scheme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you got any of the scale blazer lures in stock? Yes, we do.
Yeah, we still have some in stock, yep.
But at the moment, if you buy any of our lures at the moment for the next week, Colin is away on holidays, so we can't send them to you.
We can't send anything for a week.
He's away on a well-earned holiday with his son.
Yep.
And so there's no one to post them. So wait a week. How do you know when to burn lures for barra?
Burn lures for barra.
Yeah, it might be a typo.
What about typo?
Yeah.
Or does he mean crank like crazy? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's not something we really do. I do have a fast trolling method at certain times. That's pretty advanced though, but that's in barra basics. There's a certain time where I do catch them a bit trolling lures faster.
Speed retreat.
Yeah. But most of the time with casting and stuff, you mostly want to pull them a bit slower. Yeah.
Colin he's on holidays. He's the guy that sends out
our lures.
Our
He's on, is he?
No, he just popped up his message with a 900 barra that he caught today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. He's gone to Dundee, so good to see. I hope those tips pay off.
Did he go to Dundee? I thought he went to Gloucester.
No, he's gone to Dundee. Oh. Yeah, I gave him some tips the other day, so it's good to see they're working, mate.
He's only a message, he's not on the live.
No.
Ever been to PNG? All right, we're running out of questions and we're going to wrap up soon, so quickly pop in any questions you have, because we try and...
have I even been to PNG?
I was
no.
there for 6 years and never had a chance to go fishing, but from what I've seen, the boats and fishing gear was always the limit. Would like to see you do an episode up there.
Yeah, it's on the bucket list.
I want to take moon swings up there.
Yeah, well, we've got a bit of logistics to worry about first.
Didn't you say there might be pirates or something?
All right, I'll just take plenty of rum. I'll just bribe them. I'll call past Noble Island, the cave on Noble Island on the way.
Yeah, I reckon
we'll get some rum out of there. No, we've got a stash in there. Yeah.
What's the best lure for freshwater barra?
Oh, mate, there's so many.
It depends.
It depends on the...
different things for different times.
Some things you want to pull a bit lower and slower, and other times
basics.
it's up all happening on the surface, and there's no one set kind of lure, you know.
It totally changes. That we have a framework.
Yeah.
And it depends on the run, it depends on the location, the habitat, and it depends what technique you use and also what part of the tide. So we have it all in one framework so you know exactly what to do.
No tides in impoundments, but...
No, but they do funny things in impoundments still, don't they?
Yeah, we sometimes use the wind to our advantage in impoundments because it does a certain
But we have an impoundment framework as well. So it really just depends on what they do. There's no best lure. It's best lure, what, when, why, you know?
On the day, on the situation.
Clara, it would be interesting listening to you pair having a debate.
It used to be.
Ryan backs away slowly, throwing chocolate.
I've actually turned her a bit in recent years.
What's the sounders behind you for?
They're for the game boat, upgrading to 8416s.
Now that Ryan's old, he needs bigger units.
Yeah.
Oh no, something happened. Oh, I wish I was better at using this phone. Will you do another sale on pillages soon? I lost a few at Palm Cove. We don't actually have any sales planned on our lures at the moment.
Not in the short term, but we'll see what happens. Maybe before we head away, we might do one.
I've got to organise all that, if that's the case. Easy for you to throw that out there. Now I'm just running out of... pillages. And Clara said something before and I thought you'd gone. Oh, we're coming up north again in November. We'll try and catch up this time.
Yeah. We'll be in Cooktown.
When we're going through
Yeah.
Cooktown. I haven't been able to find any wonky holes since moving from Port Hedland to Exmouth. I need a billfish course.
A billfish course? Yeah, we've had a few people ask us for that. But I'd like to get some of the stuff out of the road that's a bit more generic and all the things that I specialise in or know a lot about. But yeah, marlin and small boats would be something that I would look at
It's on
down
the list.
Yeah, it's on the list, but...
Red Emperor Nanny Guy are next.
Yeah.
Then there'll be, I think we're going to do like boating safety, GPS weather, that kind of stuff, because we've noticed a lot of people getting into trouble out there. And, you know, the 2-day course that they give you with your boat licence, and it probably includes some boat maintenance as well, just basic boats to keep your tinnies in
It'll be a
order.
good little cheaper course.
And the other one will be Better Than Basics, land-based.
Yeah.
So that kids can
Yeah.
use it. So that's probably see us through course creation until the end of next year. With Mudrook Crabs coming out, then the Red Emperor, then the boating, and then the land-based.
Yeah.
But yeah, marlin in small boats we have thought about.
Yeah. Just down the track a bit.
What's your thoughts on the number of crocs in the rivers?
Oh, I mean, I do like crocs, but yeah, I can see both sides of the story. There is a lot around, and even experienced people like me, you kind of got to have eyes in the back of your head a bit more now. Where the crocodile issue is going to end, or whatever, I don't know. I think at some stage, well, at the moment, between Port Douglas and the Burdick, and any animals over I forget the exact size, but any animals over 3.5 metres, I think, can be targeted for removal. So I think that's what's happening at the moment.
They're online. You can. I think they updated it though. When I worked for Parks, they had a plan which was dangerous crocs were removed anywhere they were, if they were threatening people. All crocs were removed in areas where they were likely to come in close contact with people, like Cairns foreshore, Townsville foreshore, that kind of thing. But other than that, only aggressive crocs over 3 metres were removed. Yeah,
it's hard to keep up with all these changes and everything that's going on. So just have a look at the pages, the government pages. That's where you'll find out all the latest legislation.
Any issues with crocs around boat ramps? Not that we know of.
In Kabul, the crocs have gone and laid on the boat ramps overnight.
Yeah, but they haven't
They haven't eaten anybody. No, haven't.
But just be careful in croc country. Always keep the boat in between you and.
Well, a mate of ours was he was nearly ripped off the back of his houseboat.
Yes.
In Kabul.
That wasn't at a boat ramp, but it was not far away.
No. And they've caught that crocodile low. That one's out of the water. But there has been another big one in Kabul coming into the marina since. That's what happens when one goes, another one shows up. And there's been an absolute giant over at Hecate Point. Ian's seen it, Colby's seen it, my brother and my son. They've seen it lately. It's got scars all over it, and it's an absolute giant. They think it might be the one from Wreck Creek has come down, and he's an absolute beast, a real beast. So yeah, they do move around, the crocs. They do know when predominant, the predominant male or whatever in the area, if he gets taken or killed or whatever, another one they'll move in. They can sense each other pretty well from a long way away.
So Tim said, keep us informed at the Mackay Area Fish Stocking Association. So we will definitely do that.
Yeah, it might be a while before we get to talk about the Trevallies with them again, because I think
they did say they were going to put something up on their website, so I will email them and say let us know, and we will promote that.
Yeah.
Gavin said, ever thought of having a Patreon subscription with a few giveaways for subscribers?
It's crossed our mind. I don't know why we haven't done anything with it yet.
Well, because it's more content we have to make.
Yeah, I know.
And, if you've only got 5 people contributing, you're making a whole lot of content for $10.
Yeah, I know.
And, we already provide a heap of stuff for free. There's free training on our, we just did a free webinar. We have the YouTube channel. So we do a lot of stuff. And we have thought about a Patreon channel, but it's just, we're closer to 60 than 50 now. And it's more about lifestyle than money.
Yeah, we're not going to burn out again.
No. Getting the courses, originally making the courses really nearly killed us. We both had full-time jobs and, it was really hard jacker. So now, it has crossed our mind, but, it would just depend on how many subscribers we thought we could get.
Yeah. Because we're not like a normal YouTube. We're not normal. We've got videos on YouTube, but we're not actual YouTubers.
Yeah.
We have our own products to sell, and is the courses. Yeah. We don't rely on views and all that. And besides, I look terrible in a bikini.
Thankfully, I've never seen that. We've just got a few more in YouTube, and then we're going to call it a day because it is 8:30.
We've had a massive week.
Yeah. Have you caught a meter Murray cod? I don't think you've ever caught a Murray cod. He hasn't even caught a baby.
I went down to Melbourne and caught up with all the boys down there one year, and we went out to Echuca, and we sat on the bank for 3 days, and we drank some of the best red wine you'll ever come across. Beautiful steaks from King Island or whatever, and we got smashed. And we went fishing for about 10 minutes, and one of the guys caught a little Murray cod.
He's seen one caught.
I've seen one caught. Yeah.
Have you been to King Ash Bay in the Northern Territory?
That's on the cards.
But there's a lot of our students, if you join the Barra Basics group,
we were supposed to do a big trip. We were supposed to do a big trip across Australia 2 years ago. Yeah. We had the little boat built for it. We got the tourer and everything for it, and then those floods came along and washed the Fitzroy River Bridge and about half the highway away over there. So that's kind of put an end to those plans. Yeah. But yes, it certainly is on our cards. We'd love to take the big boat around to North.
There's tides and times to fish for barra trolling. That's in Barra Basics.
Barra Basics, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are some questions we just can't answer.
Yeah, people pay a lot of money to get that kind of expertise. Red Emperor shallow water course would be great. That's, the Red Emperor nanny guy courses. Next cab off the rank. All right, well, sorry to Instagram people that cut off halfway, and thanks for coming back on. If you've only seen this on Instagram, there is another video floating around somewhere. And someone also did ask about the Trevally. We've already gone through that at length.
Yeah.
So
Just rewatch it.
find the replay and watch the start of it, because most of the information.
And if anyone has any more concerns, just put them in there. Something might be something we haven't thought about to ask them yet. You know.
And,
so if we all get together and use our heads, it's better.
Someone said they think that you look hot in a bikini.
What about a G-string?
No.
No. We won't go there.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for putting up with our technical issues. And
we always have at least one, don't we?
Yeah,
it wouldn't be
okay.
You know.
We're over 50.
I know.
Give us a break.
That's it. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming along.
Cost us on sale for the next few days. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
it, go and have a look at our reviews. Honestly, you know, we love helping people, and
You want to make some great memories with your family. Teach your kids from the start the correct way.
yeah.
Honestly.
And the big fish that the guys catch is, and especially sound skills too. Every boatie should do sound skills too. People go, oh, you know, I don't know. Should I board it or shouldn't I? And then the feedback's like, my God, why didn't I buy this ages ago? I just think of the fish that I've missed and the fuel that I've
makes people a
burned.
better fisherman just by understanding the sounder. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to end these things.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We'll see you next time. Might have some more information about our fisheries issues.
Yeah. Bye.
Cheers. Oh, that was good timing.